You think they may have found her?
Because he wouldn't straight up answer me when I asked him if she was in the cave.
In the cave? You think, is that where you were thinking she was?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were saying she was off like a cliff.
She is underwater.
Underwater? So when did you learn this?
Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is Saturday morning. What you heard at the beginning there in the intro was a conversation between Ziggy and Fred Hill. Ziggy was live yesterday and Fred called her. Now the line was really bad. Ziggy could hardly hear him and I can't make out, I'd say at least half, if not 3/4 of that conversation. But what I did get was that Fred has been talked to again by the cops. They want him to take a lie detector test and he asked them if they'd found her. As you heard in the intro, he believes they found her because they wouldn't answer him. They wouldn't straight up answer him. They avoided the question. Ziggy asked him again a little bit later and he said they avoided the question. But they have found the cave. So this cave is behind a waterfall or something in Laurel Run Park. That's what I could make out from the Jailhouse virtual visit that Ziggy had with Fred. Also what I could make out from that conversation was that they approached Fred. And Fred knew the name, Cotton Simpson, and recalls a conversation that he had with Cotton before he died. But originally it was the cops that came to him. So he's had this information since February because Cotton died on the 14th of February of this year, allegedly, according to Fred, because he fell off a cliff. So I found out quite a lot of information about Cotton Simpson. Now, he's no offences against children anywhere on his record. He's got a bunch of offences. I showed you what's in Hawkins County and Sullivan County Circuit Court records yesterday. There's a bunch of others in the General Sessions records, but nothing relating to children. There's a protective order in there, there's something to do with domestic assault, but nothing relating to kids. But the majority of people who offend against children, unfortunately, are not on any records. They don't get caught. Simple as that. Got to catch them first and they've got to convict them to get them on the register. Now, I'm not saying that anything that Fred is saying is true. I'm not. I think probably about 3/4 of people who've commented on the last two videos that I've made about this, about the Jailhouse virtual visit conversations that Ziggy's had, have said pretty much what I'm thinking. That why now? This is very convenient. Blame the dead man. And yeah, my major concern about this is this guy is dead. He can't defend himself. Now, law enforcement will still do the investigation and they will still announce if they have enough evidence that this guy did it, even if he's dead. Right? It still has to be investigated and recorded as if he was alive. But obviously, he can't defend himself. So law enforcement have to bring all the evidence, or the prosecutors have to bring all the evidence as if they would if they were preparing for trial. But it would be convenient for them if they could find a dead man and they could close the case. But they have to have evidence. They have to provide a discovery like they would. They can't just say, oh yeah, that guy did it, and provide absolutely no evidence. However, it is very convenient that Fred is talking about this now. And some people have said he's been set up, that Fred's been set up. If Fred's been set up, then it would have to have been set up months ago before Cotton Simpson died. If the cops are trying to set him up, well, why would they? They can come and ask him about a name. They can come and ask him multiple times about a particular person, but they can't set him up because he can only say what he knows. But I still have my suspicions. Now, look, I do have a certain, I don't know what you say, a sinking feeling about this. I don't know how to explain it. Is it because I so badly want her to be found and there at least be some resolution for this? Yes, it is. I'm well aware of the lies Fred has told. The deer bones, Rose Bly being a prostitute and working out of the shed on Donwell's bottom property, Candice having a couple of babies after summer. There's a bunch of things that blatantly aren't true that Fred has said. Now, there are some things that I think Fred has got wrong, but probably has the honest belief that he thinks he's right. So, for example, seeing Andy Bernard on the afternoon of the 15th of June. I believe Andy on this one. I did a video about this recently where I showed what Fred had said and then what Andy had said. And Andy said that he did get home early to deal with the Jackie Dobbs situation on the 14th. And he exchanged words with Fred on that day. So I think possibly Fred is thinking about the 14th and not the 15th. Also, seeing Candice on his driveway on the afternoon of the 15th. That was only what Fred was told. Someone, his friend, told him that. So that could be an honest belief. And this could also be an honest belief. It doesn't mean to say that it's right, but it's an honest belief that Cotton Simpson did come to him and make some claims, and he's held on to that, not believing it at first. And then once the cops have come to him, then he's talked about it. And if all this is true, and let's just imagine the scenario that it is true, Fred's actually being really smart here by talking about it on a recorded call at the jail, knowing full well that Ziggy's also recording it. And I don't know the legalities of recording jail phone calls and jail virtual visits. I don't know about the legalities of that. Ziggy seems to think it's legal. Some people say it isn't. I don't know. Let's imagine the scenario that this is true and that Fred is talking to the cops as an informant because he wants Summer found. Will that help him in his own charges? Well, yeah, maybe. But only if it's true and only if they find Summer. It's no benefit to Fred if this isn't true. Could all of it be lies? And Fred has not spoken to the cops at all? Yeah, it could be. It could be Fred having another lying moment. But I just think it's interesting that several people now in the vicinity of Ben Hill Road have been arrested. I think they're shaking the tree, and that's good. They should have shaken the tree earlier. But hey, law enforcement moves in mysterious ways. But imagine the scenario that it's true. Let's just go there. How would Cotton Simpson know Summer Wells? Well, Candice claimed in the chat of, I think it was Chasing's, Tracy and True Crime, I think she calls herself now. We all know her as Chasing Truth, that she doesn't know the name Cotton Simpson. Is that true? I don't know. But Cotton Simpson, avid hiker and fisherman. What does Candice like doing? Fishing. What does Summer like doing? Playing in water. Cotton is a retired person from Warriors State Park, so presumably he was a groundsman or something like that. Is it possible that he's seen Summer on previous occasions there or in fishing locations? Yes, easily. If Cotton Simpson knows Fred Hill, doesn't have to know him well, but maybe come to Ben Hill Road on occasions to buy meth, and Cotton has learnt that Summer, the little girl that he's seen out and about, lives at 110. Could he be the guy who set up the camp on that ridge that Cam from Cracking Cases found? Easily. Just because he was knocking on in years doesn't mean to say that he's not fit enough to climb a ridge, because if he's been an avid hiker all his life, he's going to be a fit guy. Lived in that terrain all his life, going to be a fit guy. Falling off a cliff to his death, unfortunate accident, or did it intentionally? We don't know. His family have been in certain chats. I've not screen recorded these, but they seem to think it was accidental. I don't know. I can't vouch for that. I haven't seen his death certificate. It would be karma if he had taken Summer Wells and he fell to his death in the vicinity of where he hid her body. What would be his motivation? Well, the obvious. Is there something deeper at play? Are there more people involved? Possibly. Could it be that Cotton Simpson took Summer, but he wasn't the one that killed her? Yeah, could be. There's all of these possibilities. But first and foremost, they've got to find Summer first. If they do find Summer, if they have found Summer, then Fred has done a brilliant thing. If this is a sick lie that Fred has cooked up, well, that's disgusting. We've got to contemplate the possibility that this is true. Despite all reservations, I've got to, until we learn otherwise, at least give this some serious consideration as a legitimate belief from Fred that the cops are investigating. Have they found Summer? I don't know. That was just Fred's assumption, speculation, because they wouldn't answer him. Have they found her? Well, they'd have to notify the family first, and if this was skeletal remains, then they would have to identify those skeletal remains. I think they'd do that before they made this public, honestly. I think they'd try to keep it quiet because this is such a story, you know, such a big story. That's just my thought process at the moment. I'm on tenterhooks, but let me know what you think in the comments below. I've been Michelle, hope you're well, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Cass. Well, Cass.